Hello guys, this is Dark Fox Sage 2 and we are back with our new fanfic, which is What If Naruto Became Ice Cold After Years of Hatred Part 2. And if you enjoy this fanfic, then please press the like button and please subscribe to the channel. It motivates me to upload more fanfic like these for you all. Now let's start the fanfiction. Choji felt his friends leave as he quickly chewed on the pellet. Jirobo was closing in on him. He wouldn't let this guy past him. It was his duty to stop him. Choji grunted as Jirobo ran right into the large boy, who smirked. He slowly lifted the bigger teen off the ground and threw him several feet away. Jirobo couldn't believe what was happening. This kid actually lifted him up. As he climbed out of the rumble, the enemy didn't notice Choji wincing from the side effects. Goodbye, Choji said as he wrapped strings of kunai around his legs, torso, and arms. He quickly went through the hand seals that he knew without any thought at all. Baika no Jutsu. Expansion Jutsu. He turned into a spike ball within seconds and began speeding at his recovering opponent. In a quick defense, Jirobo threw up a rock shield that Choji quickly broke through. The enemy had no choice but to stop Choji with his bare hands. The Konoha shinobi was shocked and watched lines of triangles cover Jirobo's skin. The older boy didn't look too happy. You're pushing your luck, brat. Those idiot leaders of yours are quick to throw you away. Jirobo shouted. He growled and threw out his arm. Hosho, splatter palm. Choji was the one to fly backwards this time and cancelled out his jutsu. He was starting to feel more of the side effects. Jirobo chuckled. It's funny how life works. Out of a group of 5, one of them is the reject. The reject is just the guy that hangs around for a laugh or two. Whenever the group gets into a situation, they send out the fool to be the first one out. It's like a pawn among knights. Jirobo took a step forth. Hello, puny pawn. Choji looked at the ground and knew he was right. People thought of him as a failure. Ah, did I hurt the baby? Jirobo chuckled again. Konoha must be low on people if they're sending trash out to fight us. Choji frowned as he remembered Shikamaru's faith in him. He pulled out the container and took out the yellow pellet, Karagen. There's a reason why he left me fight you alone. Choji shouted as the power pulsed through him. He didn't catch Jirobo's comment either. Here I come, fatty. Jirobo was charging straight for him. Buben Baika no Jutsu, the art of particle expansion. Choji slammed the enemy into the ground with a giant right hand. Jirobo countered with a well-placed punch to the jaw, sending Choji into the air. The older boy watched as Choji smirked and brought his hands together. Prepare for defeat. The art of super expansion. A Choji the size of a mountain fell on top of the enemy and several trees. Choji figured he won until something moved him from his stomach. What a waste. Having to use my second form on you. Jirobo complained. He looked extremely angry. The powerful boy slammed his palm upwards against Choji. Shogekisho palm slam. Giant Choji went flying into the air, and as he hit the ground again, he cancelled the jutsu. As the dust cleared, Choji got to see how Jirobo looked now. He was shocked at the transformation. Fear spread through him. This battle is over. My second state makes me 10 times more powerful. I'm unstoppable. Jirobo started walking towards Choji. There are drawbacks such as greater need for chakra. Choji winced in pain from the side effects of the pellet. He knew in his head what his last choice was. He couldn't use the red one because it would kill him. Jirobo smirked down at Choji and punched him in the stomach hard enough to break the ground around him. He grabbed Choji by the throat and tried to suck out the remaining chakra. That was a waste. Hardly enough to be considered an appetizer. Choji fought consciousness as he reached towards his chip bag. Jirobo noticed and stomped on the reaching hand. He instead got the bag and ate the remaining chip. It's just like what I said before. You're nothing but the weakling pawn. After this, I'm going for some juicy nights. He chuckled and looked at Choji's fading consciousness. You're a shun fatty that's now dead. Choji remembered Shikamaru's first meeting with him after the other kids kicked him out of their game. Choza told Choji that he would meet many comrades that would become precious. Using the last of his energy, he pulled out the red pellet and ate it. Whatever you're doing now is too late. Osho. Crushing palm. The ground broke around them, and as the smoke cleared, Jirobo was shocked to see Choji standing with chakra butterfly wings. He was concentrating all of it into his left hand. Gengeki. Boulder blow. Jirobo went to punch the smaller boy but was stopped by Choji's hand. The boy looked deathly serious. It's no good anymore because I'm 100 times stronger than before, Choji said before elbowing the enemy. Jirobo was shocked as he skidded against the ground. They say that there's nothing scarier than a grudge over food. That elbow was for taking the last chip. Choji tightened his left fist. This next blow is more serious. You called me a throwaway pawn, something I'm not ready to forgive. Jirobo paled. You insulted my friend. That's worse than calling me names or taking the last chip. It's unforgivable. Choji punched Jirobo in the chest, killing the older boy. The genin watched the seal retreat and Jirobo's eyes rolled to the back of his head. Sasuke retrieval. Sannin battle. Battle with Orochimaru in Chunin exams. Naruto's childhood. Itachi and Kurenai's involvements in his childhood. Team 7's development. People's reactions when seeing zombie Naruto. To follow the rules, I give you an ice-cold drabble. I don't own Naruto now, and I won't own him anytime soon. Nobody ever asked Naruto about why he hurt himself a lot. Nobody cared. Naruto didn't even care. He went about finding forgotten weapons, tools, and rocks. He ignored the third's disappointed stare. He hated the old man, but that hatred wasn't like the one he held for the village. They assigned a ninja guard to him. Why? Naruto soon figured it was to keep him from inflicted pain upon himself. He glared at the guard and went to move from his position in a tree. He slipped. Naruto, what am I going to do with you? The Hokage asked. He reached out to pat Naruto's head, but the boy's glare stopped him. The old man sighed and made sure the nurse was gone. Naruto, I'm at wit's end. I'm not giving up on you. One day, someone will put you on the right path in life. Naruto shrugged and looked away. In an hour, he'd be kicked out because his wounds would be healed. He would spend the rest of his night sleeping in an alley because he couldn't remember his way home. Several months later, Naruto met Hyuga Hazashi. The older man was the one to end his jumping off high places days. Naruto found out several days later that Hazashi was dead. He wasn't able to attend the funeral, so he had his own little one. It was to say thanks for helping him think better. Naruto ignored the envelopes sitting on his table because he didn't know how to count that high. The small boy wished the Hokage let him stay in the orphanage. At least the caretaker paid attention to him, even though it was in a negative way. It would be a year before Naruto met his most precious person in life. He had spent that year learning to be an adult. 4-year-old Naruto was demanded to group up 14 years too early. The child hated bills. His child's scrawl was terrible to read, but he got better. Most 4-year-olds were just learning basics. Between the clans becoming more aggressive, which in turn meant the villagers were braver, and the increasingly expensive bills, Naruto ran away. He ambushed his guard, stole a kunai, and ran as fast as he could. It sucked that Kurenai saved him from death. Naruto, are you okay? The Hokage asked the 4-year-old. Naruto looked at the Hokage from his table. The old man was a rare visitor, and his visits made Naruto nervous. How much longer would he be living in this rundown apartment? I heard about your conversation with Kurenai. No reaction came from Naruto as he focused on his bills. The electric bill almost tripled, and Naruto kept all the lights out. He sighed. Naruto, I hope you understand the value of friends someday. Naruto didn't glare or growl when the Hokage patted him on the head. Life is only going to get harder without friends to help you stand. Naruto didn't care. Nobody liked him, so he liked nobody. Nothing would change his mind. There it goes again. Walking like it's human. A village complained. The thing in question didn't look as he walked on. The thing was only 3. He didn't understand why none of the women would hold him and patch up his boo-boos. He didn't like how none of the men wouldn't laugh with him and pat him on the head. Nobody would touch him as if his skin had some sort of disease. He didn't wince when a glass bottle was thrown at his head and missed. He just continued his way home. The orphanage caretaker threw him out a few months earlier, so the Hokage gave him an apartment to live in. The apartment was empty of life and was cold. The white-haired boy didn't care. He closed the door and locked it in silence. It didn't matter anymore if he talked or didn't. Nobody cared if he even got up every day. The boy sighed and imagined a better life. He closed his eyes real tight and opened them to see if it was just a dream. Sadly, he was still living a nightmare. The boy didn't smile. He didn't understand smiling. He walked into the kitchen and opened one of the lower cabinets. An old kunai was the only item in the cabinet. The little boy grabbed it and sighed. He brought it to his arm like he saw the academy kids do onto the dummies. He was a dummy. He had no soul and was only a punching bag.